focus on people who are in your small group, but also taking that step further, just trying to figure out who is really catching the vision, who is really catching the gist of the whole material, and who would be actually the person, a couple, who would want to take this material and share it with their friends, basically to look for a new group leaders. So how do you go about that?
Well, first of all, it's having in mind this idea, because ultimately the need out there is really big. We've had it said to us many times by other couples that every couple should go through a love and respect small group. This is their comment after going through, and we would agree with him. But in order for that to take place, we're going to need a lot of small group leaders to be able to make that happen. And to do that, we need to be quite intentional in looking for potential small group leaders. So when we're actually leading a small group, we're kind of watching the couples, seeing how this message is resonating with them. We notice that some of them have real skills and they have a real burden or a passion or an interest in this area. And then we would try to initiate a connection with them, talking to them about their relationship with the Lord. It's important for us that couple knows the Lord and walks with the Lord and wants to honor God's word as they're attempting to put love and respect into practice. And when we see that they have a relationship with the Lord, that there's a real resonating of the love and respect message in their own relationship, we would like to empower them to lead a small group. So we're watching them to see who might be a potential small group leader, and then we talk to them when the group is over and ask them if they would consider leading a small group.
Would you co-lead or co-host that other group with them? Would you help them out and walk in?
Yes, we've done that through the first session with other couples. As they've led, we would come and participate in the group with you. We've gone to other locations and said, okay, we will lead this first small group together with you, but we want a few couples identified as potential small group leaders to sort of be assistants. They're in the small group with the intention of having the content impact their own relationship, but we want to provide even further vision for them and ask them to consider leading a small group when this first group is completed.
You also mentioned that not all of the couples who are volunteers are leading the small groups right now. So can you elaborate more on that?
Yes. We have a list of potential small group leaders in Slovenia. Right now, there's a certain number of groups that are functioning. Not all the potential small group leaders, or those who've already led small groups, are leading small groups now. One of the advantages of this content is that you can pick up this tool and lay it down at any time. So sometimes the schedules in life, new babies are born, new jobs, couples move, so they may not, for whatever reason, be able to lead a small group at particular seasons, but they can always pick this up at a later time. So we want to try to create a leadership culture where more and more couples are being involved in the process, and then encourage it at any particular time when there's a new opportunity for them to consider starting another love and respect small group for their particular area.
Because it's true, it takes a commitment for them and time. So.
Feel obligated to look for various couples in your groups that might eventually be facilitators. But if you would be so kind to keep that in the back of your mind, we welcome that, because this is part of what we're trying to do. We believe there's a tremendous hunger for the love and respect message. We know that people who engage this, they're the ones who start talking about the content. They tell other people. In Slovenia right now, they haven't advertised. These 100 couples have taken the initiative to say, we've heard about this, we want to be in a small group, but they don't have the facilitator. So, but this is a good problem. It's a supply and demand thing, and it's part of leadership that we have to then, okay, we've got to raise up leaders. So please keep in mind as you go through it, you and your wife or you and your husband can talk, hey, you know what, I think that couple over there, I think they could be challenged. And you know what? If you don't ask, people don't even think about it. So don't hesitate at least asking. The worst they're going to say is, no, I don't think we're ready for that. The flip side is, you mean we could actually do this? They could get really pumped. So please keep that in the back of your mind. But let's keep talking about this. What are some other things that are coming to mind that you could share with these folks who are watching that would encourage them? And again, this is profound stuff. You guys have been in the trenches on this.
Having gone through a Love and Respect small group, that's one help for potential small group leaders, is that they've seen how this works. So having been in a group, they get a little bit of the flavor of what it would take, and hopefully they can see that it's not so much rocket science, because you provide the science for all of us. We can just provide a loving and caring environment for couples to engage with this content. We don't have to be experts because you're the expert. We're taking advantage of the message that God has revealed to you. You've articulated it in such a fantastic way for us, and all we can provide is a loving and caring environment. But we've also anticipated other questions, so we've created some content written down. How do we begin a Love and Respect small group? That content is on paper. We can provide that. Where do we get the couples? How do we invite couples to come? So we've provided some suggestions in that of where they could potentially get new couples to participate in their group. Sometimes we can provide couples who've contacted our ministry in Slovenia, Zaživi življenje, and we can provide couples for their group. But there are other things that they can do to reach out to their friends, their relatives, their associates, their neighbors, and how they can also obtain couples who would be interested in participating in a small group. We've also provided content for small group leaders to help alleviate some of their fears or their questions. How do we prepare each of these sessions? What are we going to say? How do we, sort of prime this before we push the play button? We've got to say something to them, or what do we say? So Barbara has done a fantastic job in preparing what we've done now over and over again. She's had this written down in her own workbook, and then she put it on paper. And we've tried to put this in a written format to help give suggestions to couples. Okay, how do we prepare lesson 1? Or what do we say in the introduction? How do we present lesson 1? Lesson 2, the Hollywood or the Holy Word? How do we present this in a way, particularly for couples who may not be believers? If we're in a context where we have some couples who are believers and some couples who are not, what really excites us about this content is that this resonates with everyone, whether they have a religious background or not. Couples are engaged because of the practical approach that you provide. We're male and female. This isn't a believer-unbeliever concept. This is a male and female issues, and this includes everybody, irregardless of our faith component. And so we try to help couples, provide with them some just real simple guidelines, and how can we present this in a way that's understandable for each of the couples, and provide for them content that makes their job as small group leaders a lot easier. And we can provide that in a written format for them so that they can be prepared the next time that they meet together and relieve their tension.
How would those who are watching right now receive that written content? Is there a way that they can get that immediately?
Yes. They could write to us at zazivi.življenja@gmail.com in Slovenia.
Boy, an American would never get it. American would never get it.
But in Croatia, they would contact Davor at
davor@obiteljskizivot.com or davor.kukec@gmail.com.
And now all the countries where we're encouraging this small group emphasis, like in Poland, Romania, Austria,
Serbia.
and Serbia, exactly. We have coordinators in each of those countries who are committed to supplying this content and help to potential small group leaders, to churches who want to start a small group emphasis to help couples within their church, but maybe also provide this as a way of reaching out to couples in their community. And we are more than delighted to share this content. This content has already been shared with those coordinators in those countries. So if there's anybody watching this content, now they can reach out to those coordinators in their countries, and they can get this content to help them in their endeavor.
No, that's excellent.
Absolutely.
Some people ask, is this material just for the believers, like you said, or for who can attend the group. And so everybody, we had couples who are not married, some couples who are divorced and they're in their second relationship that they want to succeed. Some are, they use this as a pre-marriage preparation. Some are newlyweds. So we like everybody's welcome. Like we don't judge people. We don't say, oh, this is, no. We just kind of try to make it available because the Word of God is clear enough that it can, and the Holy Spirit can witness to their heart.
Yeah, we even had singles attend the group. As you said, we pointed out that this is a male and female issue. So, and so many of the principles that you share are not only applicable for the marriage, but can also be applied to a broader context of relationships, even in the workplace. Wherever you're involved in a team of people, these dynamics are going to be present. And we have found that your content has helped all of us be a little bit more skillful and mindful in the way that we communicate.
And gracious.
Pointing out the positive things that we do see, not being critical, like in the 80-20 concept, not allowing the 20% to poison the 80%. These are our skills that we can bring into any context where we're involved either in leadership or in teams or in a group of people.
My response is my responsibility. We live in a culture when people don't want to take responsibility for their own actions, so this is very beneficial for the environment we live in.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about the team as well. All the volunteers, all the small group leaders are basically like a one big team, and they also require some care. We have noticed that here in Croatia it's very important if we get them together at least like once or twice a year, or being in constant communication with them, because they also have their needs. And so when we get together with them, we also try to encourage them and hear some struggles and what they're going through. And what we have found out, like if we put them in a context where they can interact with each other, they can ask questions. So how have you dealt with this problem or that problem, or how did you resolve this issue in your small group? And so what have you found out that works well in Slovenia? And I know that every country is different. Some of the countries that we're going to be presenting this to are very large, some of them are smaller. So just geographically, how do we handle that? How do we encourage the small group leaders as they're going to be leading small groups?
Well, I think you might be more apt to answer that question than we are. I feel like we're at the forefront of this. We're trying certain things to help provide encouragement for small group leaders, that they have fuel for their job, that they're also feeling that they're genuinely appreciated for what they're doing. We want them to know that they're not alone in this endeavor, but they are a part of a team of people. We all have a common vision. We want to improve relationships in our country, and they feel, I think, very honored and privileged to be a part of participating in that process. And we need more and more people to be engaged in that. But as you said, I think we're kind of at the forefront of finding ways, how can we do this more effective?
Yeah. What we have found out that it works really well if we can gather them, as I said, once or twice a year. Once we gather them here at the office and we talk about some issues, and of course we provide them with a little bit of additional training, and we allow them to just share their practices and the common issues that they have. But also once a year we try to do a retreat with all of them, to get them somewhere off-site where we invite an outside speaker just to invest in their marriage, because we understand that if their marriage is strong, if they are doing well, then they're going to be giving out of the abundance of their heart, not just just running on empty. So we really see that means a lot to them. They feel a lot more empowered. They feel like, okay, so this nobody's using me, these people are really caring for me, and that just provides this additional encouragement for them to say, okay, I see the greater value in this, we all in this together, we can all learn and grow in this. And so they go back encouraged to lead groups in a new cycle.
Yeah.